Mr. Acting Speaker, I rise to inform the members of this Honorable House and the people of Bermuda that government will implement the Code of Practice for Project Management and Procurement on July 2nd, 2018. Mr. Acting Speaker, the Code sets out the requirements and procedures for the procurement of goods and services for the government that must be met and followed by all public officers. By complying with the Code, public officers will ensure that government's procurement activities achieve the best value for money while being fair, ethical, and transparent. Mr. Acting Speaker, the Code is reflective of the government's commitment to improve good governance standards and to use its purchasing power to create opportunities for historically disadvantaged groups. Mr. Acting Speaker, this is a notable achievement. This government promised the completion of the Code, and we have now delivered. We are committed to good governance and good government. Mr. Acting Speaker, through the implementation of the Code, we are effectively raising the standards of governance in this country, as that is what the voters expect. Mr. Acting Speaker, Mr. Acting Speaker, this is a true example of accountability. Others promised, but we have delivered. We have not simply delivered the instructions in printed form, but we have spent the past several months ensuring that public officers are prepared. We have also spent time educating and making potential vendors aware of how they too can participate. Mr. Acting Speaker, the Office of Project Management and Procurement conducted training sessions on the Code for permanent secretaries, heads of departments, comptrollers, and the Accountant General's Department during the period of November 2017 to March 2018. Thereafter, heads of departments were required to ensure the distribution of the Code to all officers who are engaged in the purchasing process within their respective departments. These and other public officers with responsibility for engaging in purchasing and tendering activities will receive instruction on the Code's requirements and procedures as part of a standard training program. Staff members of Quengos and other public authorities will also be trained on the procedures and requirements of the Code in the coming weeks. Mr. Acting Speaker, information sessions were conducted for the benefit of contractors, vendors, and suppliers that are associated with the Chamber of Commerce, the Bermuda Economic Development Corporation, and the Construction Association of Bermuda on January 31st, March 19th, and April 4th, 2018, respectively. Mr. Acting Speaker, the training and information sessions have yielded valuable and constructive feedback. We have been reminded of the importance of ensuring that the government's procurement processes are as efficient as possible and that its documentation is readily accessible by all prospective suppliers. We have been encouraged to be more flexible in providing for advance, stage, or interim payments and to reduce the time required to process payments made to small business owners. Mr. Acting Speaker, suppliers welcomed the potential opportunity to participate in consortia to collectively deliver larger-scale government projects. The implementation of framework agreements and approved contractors lists were viewed as providing for participation of a broader pool of suppliers in contracting opportunities on a more efficient basis. Mr. Acting Speaker, the Code will replace Section 8 of the Financial Instructions, which sets out the procedures that public officers must follow to purchase goods and services for the government. The Accountant General will amend the Financial Instructions to reflect this change. Public officers must continue to comply with financial instructions to ensure that financial transactions are properly recorded and controlled on a consistent basis. The financial instructions will continue to form the minimum standard for financial controls in every department, ministry, or Quengo, with additional specific procedures formulated at the departmental level or tailored to the respective needs of the Quengo. Mr. Acting Speaker, the procedures for the purchase of goods and services are contained in the code to ensure that that capital projects and significant expenditures for the purchase of goods and services have appropriate governance and control frameworks in place. Following the implementation of the code, requests for sole source waivers will be considered by the Director of the Office of Project Management and Procurement. The Accountant General will no longer be responsible for granting sole source waivers. Mr. Acting Speaker, in closing, I would like to extend my appreciation to the Office of Project Management and Procurement for work they have undertaken to develop and implement the Code of Practice for Project Management and Procurement. Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker.